Hi YouTube, Extreme Trains here. I was not originally going to pick up any of the other push-alongs, but when I saw them in the store yesterday, man, they were just so cute. And so in this video, we are taking a look at Hiro, who is one of the engines which I actually haven't seen in any of the episodes that I've watched of AEG yet. I admit I've only watched about half a dozen episodes because they're a whole situation. But I'm really excited to review this one. He looks like a really cool character and a very good toy. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. Alright, so now we've got Hiro, who I have not seen in a show yet, who has appeared in this form, and just how cute is he? But also, how great the fact that we've actually got details that are kind of realistic and kind of match the show. In terms of a box, interestingly, he does also have the multi-languages, even though some engines don't. But at least we've got his actual name there, and he's not just called Crane Vehicle, so that is good. All right, what are we waiting for? Let's get Hiro out of his packaging and take a look. All right, so let's first take a look at Hiro's engine himself. Let's just spin him around. First, we're going to take a look at the face. Yep, a great Hiro face. Again, in referencing to his All Engines Go version. I think that looks great. Again, the details on this are awesome. You've got the red painting on the front so that it looks like he's got the brown buffers. So it's kind of what they did with Diesel, which I think is great. I really like that they've used a separate piece of plastic for his lamp. So it's in that really nice yellow color. He's got all the right details that he should. Again, got the weird backwards facing funnel, which is what they're doing with all these new All Engines Go engines. Got the smoke deflectors there, got the boiler bands, got the weirdly blank nameplate, which is also accurate to the show. You've got the lining around here, you've got the different shape of the dome, which I think is a separate plastic piece. I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, I think that's a separate plastic. So this is metal. That's a plastic piece which kind of is connected to it, so similar to the way they do the whistles, whereas these whistles are actually molded into the metal of the engine. You'll see the boiler bands have been done not very well. The way they line up, they don't line up. Obviously, it's like they do like one, like they do 3 different applications, and they don't line up that well, which is unideal. But again, for a kid's toy, does it matter? Don't know. Again, this kind of gap here is actually kind of accurate, which is really weird. They've done a decent job with his wheels too. He's only missing that little wheel on the back because he doesn't have the 8 driving wheels in the show. We've got Hiro written on the bottom, as you can see there. And again, he doesn't have the weird printing on the wheels, but the tender engines don't have that. It seems like just the main cast has got that. I don't know why they've done that. I know James, for example, doesn't have the little notches in it, so I don't know what that's about. But anyway, it looks fine, and I do quite like that they've used a bit of a metallic fleck for the wheels, which I think is pretty cool. Come around to the back. Interestingly, no painted buffers on the back here, so that is interesting. But if we come look at his tender, you can see here we've got, painted buffers, and we've even got grey paint on the sides so that his sideboard matches. Like, what the heck? Mattel never does this kind of stuff. You've still got the weird thing where there's a buffer on the front as well, but it's also buffers on the back, so that's good. And again, with the paint, love that paint. We've got the nice simple detailing there. We've got the coal, which is like a different, I don't know if it's painted. I think it's just a different piece of plastic. Again, they could have molded this out of just black, but I'm just shook at the effort Mattel's putting into these toys now. It blows my mind. We've got a nice little thing that says Hiro here. That's good to see. So if you're wondering, kid is wondering whose tender it is, it does say. Obviously, a much shorter tender with not the right amount of wheels, but that is the style of the push-alongs. And that just goes in like that. And you get Hiro coming together, I think, looking really good. Obviously, there's creative license taken, but if you want, like, to me, this is far more accurate compared to what you see in the show versus the old Trackmaster push-along compared to what you saw in the show, except in one key area. So let's do a quick size comparison between Tomas, for example, and Kana is a good example. In the show, they're meant to be like very small. Like the engines are meant to be, the tank engines and Kana are meant to be way smaller than the tender engines, but you can see here, they're the same size. Tomas might actually even be, no, Tomas isn't taller, but his cab is just further forward, so it looks a bit taller. Tomas looks almost bigger because his face is a bit bigger. So it's This, to me, I think is how it would make more sense in the show for them to be scaled. Obviously, Hiro should be a little bit longer, but the irony is now that Kana almost looks bigger than Hiro, whereas in the show, Hiro is like this tall compared to Kana. Like, it's just weird. So interestingly, the scaling, the fact that the show is so out of scale means that the toys are also out of scale, but in the way that's opposite to what you think. Usually it doesn't look like this weird. But yeah. So, I don't know, that's a bit of mileage may vary. I don't love how small Hiro looks. It's just, I get Thomas Wood vibes from this, in that even though Hiro is absolutely bigger, and he's not the same as the Thomas Wood Gordon, for example, which uses the same chassis as the Thomas Wood Thomas, and he does have the nice tender, he does feel not as big as he should when compared to Thomas, I think. So that scaling issue, which is really weird in the TV series, I think, is also still weird in this toy, but that is okay. That is what it is, I guess. I'd love to know your thoughts below about what you think about the scaling on this engine. Finally then, I want to do a quick price comparison. So as talked about in my Carly video, Carly is in the larger price class which Hiro is in. So Hiro is a $12 toy, at least that's the price I've seen him at in person, and Carly is also a $12 toy. So when you look at them side by side, I actually think when you look at them in the packaging, it doesn't look like it's worth it, but when you get them out in hand and you consider Carly is quite a bit taller than Hiro, Carly has a lot of, presence because she's got this huge crane on it than Hiro. I actually think it makes sense that they're in the same size class, because even though Hiro is a little bit longer and does have the tender, for example, this tender doesn't have as much metal on it, most of it is plastic. I actually think that it doesn't actually seem that crazy that these two are in the same size class. And I think, for example, if I compare Hiro to Thomas, do I think Hiro is twice as much as Thomas? It'd be pretty close. Like, let's take a look at the lengths. It's pretty close in terms of one Thomas, two Thomas. Like, you can kind of fit two Thomases in. So I actually think that these prices are maybe less crazy than they first appear. Obviously, it's up to you if you decide whether you want to buy these engines or not. But that's just something to think about. Again, great to see we've got a coupling on the front here. I didn't talk about that earlier, but that is good to see. But yeah, I think overall, these larger engines are proving to be relatively good value and also great design. So if you like the Hiro, again, this looks miles better than the awful motorized version, which just looks like a piece of junk. If you ask me, I don't like any of the motorized engines for All Engines Go. I think they all look really bad. I would recommend you picking this one up, but again, just make sure you're not paying overpriced for it, because $12 is obviously more expensive than the previous push-along versions, so just keep that in mind. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Do all those cool things you do on YouTube, and that's all we've got time for. It's Extreme Trains.